Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I'm an alcoholic, and today, by the grace of God, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I cannot be any more grateful. I want to stop right now and wish our friend Zoey from Florence a very happy belated birthday. I meant to do a monologue yesterday and wish her a happy birthday yesterday, but things came up over the weekend, and man, we've been really busy, so I wasn't able to do it. Zoe, I apologize, but I do hope you had a great day yesterday, and I want to say thank you for always hanging out with us here in the Recovery Classroom, and I hope you and your family continue to do so. Speaking of Friday night, man, the crosstalk meeting was pretty awesome, pretty special. Eric and Bigfoot, Josh, as we call him, or Bigfoot as we call him, I should say, they picked up their milestone chips. Eric got his 18-month, and Bigfoot got his 1 year, and it's just incredible seeing the amount of effort, passion, energy, and work these guys have poured into the recovery. If that's not refreshing or encouraging, I don't know what is. Crosstalk Friday, we did have a topic come in that I'm going to read to you, and I had to read this like several times. God grant me the courage to change the things I cannot accept. Grant me the courage to change the things I cannot accept. Obviously, it's a play on words on the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So this says, grant me the courage to change the things I cannot accept. And my first thought, as I read this like several times, my first thought is, what is the opposite of courage? Well, that's fear. Fear is the opposite of courage. And then my next thought was, what is it you're so afraid of in this thing that you can't accept? Why are you so afraid of this thing you can't accept? And the only thing I default back to, I always come back to, and I think this is true for everyone, if we all take a deep look at our fears, I think the number one thing we're most afraid of is change. I think we're always afraid of change, and change is inevitable. We can't control our environment. We can't control other people, and because there's this dynamic element of our environment, of the weather, even of people and people's actions, we obviously can't control that, right? So that's what's going to elicit that change in our lives. We're fearful, I think we're fearful of our lives changing, of a situation, of an environment. That's ultimately our fear. And then I took a step further. Perhaps we're fearful of the type of person we're going to become whenever we decide to get sober. Perhaps we're fearful of this particular situation playing out a certain way that we don't want it to play out. Perhaps you're fearful of you just don't know who you're going to become. You don't know what's going to happen to you in this situation. Perhaps you're thinking it's just safer to stay where you're at. Maybe because that doesn't require a whole lot of work, a whole lot of determination, as I was talking about with Eric and Josh, right? Maybe it's just easier to stay where you're at. And maybe it's just because we're comfortable. Maybe that's what we're afraid of. We're comfortable and we don't want to experience that change, that we don't want to accept the fear of it, or we don't want to accept the situation that we're wanting to change. Maybe it's just because we're comfortable. And for me, comfort is my enemy. Serenity is my friend. Comfort is my enemy. Serenity is my friend. Comfort leads me to complacency, and complacency leads me to relapse. It's very simple. Just like when you go to the gym and you lift a 15-pound dumbbell about 5,000 times every day. Well, after a couple weeks, that 15-pound dumbbell is going to feel pretty light. Your body's going to grow. Sure, it's going to be uncomfortable at first, at least for me. It's going to be uncomfortable at first, but that uncomfortable feeling is what allows us to grow. Serenity is being at peace where you're at, even though you may not like where you're at. Serenity is being at peace where you're at, knowing you're going to be okay, even though you may not like exactly where you're at. Change is inevitable. Once again, change is inevitable. Comfort is dangerous, in my opinion, but serenity is being at peace with where I'm at. Being at peace knowing that, hey, shit's going to be changing, shit that I can't control because of all these dynamic elements, all the shit that I can't control, it's going to be changing, but I'm going to be okay. That's serenity, and I'd much rather have serenity. Hang on to that serenity. I want to encourage you to ask yourself, if there's a situation that you cannot change, that you want to change, My first question is, how can you change a situation that you may have no control over? Matter of fact, the only thing we have control over is ourselves. I can somewhat control what I think, do, and say. Sometimes I can control what I say. I can kind of control sometimes what I think. Sometimes I can definitely always control what I do. So I want to encourage you. Why would you want to change something that you can't control? That's like the definition of insanity. You're going to keep doing something over and over again, expecting different results. If you can't control something, you can't change it. But you can change the way you perceive it. You can change the way you look at it. Is the glass half full or half empty? Right? We can change our perception. I can control me, and that's all I can change. If there's a situation I can't change, I can't control, then I can't change it. I just can't change it. I want to encourage you. Ask yourself why it is you can't accept. What is it about this situation, about this thing that you cannot accept? What is it about that thing you can't accept that is making you so afraid? Is it because you're comfortable? Is it because you're afraid of change? The situation could change something for you? What is it about the situation that could change you? What is it about your situation that could change? And would it really be that bad of a change? I remember, early on in sobriety, man, even to this day, I still remember how excited I was at the prospect of change, as fearful as it was. Again, kind of like what Bigfoot says all the time. I didn't know who I was going to become. So there was a little bit of apprehension on my part. I wouldn't necessarily call it fear, but I'd say apprehension. I remember I was excited at the prospect of change because my life was so miserable. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I saw no way out. So any change in my life was better than where I was at. And so that it actually made me excited about change. And don't get me wrong, even today, situations will pop up and I'm going, shit, here we go. We just had one the other day pop up and I was like, shit, here we go. Well, that change, again, that dynamic element of other people in our lives, in this world that I have to, share this rock with, so to speak, that they create a dynamic element. So everything is constantly changing around me. I have to be willing to change along with it, or at least change my perception of how the world is changing. So again, I want to encourage you, ask yourself, why are you so afraid? Why are you so afraid? What is it that's driving that fear? If you're asking for courage, wanting God to grant you courage to change the things you cannot accept, why are you so afraid? What is it about that thing you can't accept that makes you so afraid? Once you start diving into it, once you start digging a little deeper and picking up all the rocks, removing all the debris and all the rubble, you may just find that change is ultimately what you're afraid of. And change can lead you to some really cool places. Change can lead you to that serenity that you may be after. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. I hope you guys have an absolutely kick-ass Sunday. Again, apologize for missing yesterday's monologue. Again, we just had a couple situations pop up we had to take care of. And Zoey, again, I do hope you have had an awesome birthday yesterday. And again, I want to thank you and your family for hanging out with us here in the Recovery Classroom. So if you guys have a topic you'd like to have discussed, feel free to drop it in the Recovery Classroom private group. It's a private Facebook group page. We maintain anonymity there. You can drop it in. There's a whole slew of us back there on the back end that we'll take a look at and see what we can do. You can email me directly, Drew, D-R-E-W, at recoveryclassroom.org, and email your topics you'd like to hear discussed, and I'll take a look at and see how we can parse it out. I want to thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I could not be any more appreciative, and I know my family appreciates it too. Also, one last important announcement. We're going to begin speaker meetings at our crosstalk locally here in the Huntington, West Virginia area. You can go out on our Facebook page or on our website and get some details, but we are looking for speakers local to the Huntington, West Virginia area to come in. And as with everything we do, though, it's not going to be your normal average speaker meeting for sure. So that being said, I'll let you guys go. We'll be talking again soon. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.